Thumbcoast TV and WGRT bring you St. Clair County at the Mackinac Policy Conference. Sponsored by the Community Foundation of St. Clair County, Michigan Mutual, and Eastern Michigan Bank.
Welcome back to live coverage at the Mackinac Policy Conference. I'm Josh Chapman, and I'll be joined by Dave Egner, President and CEO of the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation. And Dave, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Josh. How about
you?
you?
By the
Always
way,
great to see you.
I appreciate you taking a couple of minutes. I know you got your running shoes on because you're here, there, and you are everywhere on this island. All 8.7 square miles of it?
I haven't run all the way around it yet, but I think that's right.
I love it. Well, for a lot of folks that might not know what the Ralph Wilson Foundation is, it's funny, and we work closely in several different ventures with my YMCA role, my community foundation role.
We just can't get around you, Josh.
That's what I try to put myself wherever you're at. But I hear the Ralph Wilson Foundation brought up in so many different overreaching things. Can you give our viewers kind of a 10,000 feet overview of what is the foundation,
Sure.
What makes it significant, and kind of revolutionary in its own way?
So Mr. Wilson owned the Buffalo Bills, but lived in southeast Michigan. He lived in Grosse Pointe. And before he passed, he selected 4 life trustees and said, when I pass away, liquidate the assets and start a foundation. I won't tell you what to spend it on. I won't tell you geographically how to spend it. I'm just going to tell you spend it all in 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Which sounds easy enough.
It sounds easy enough, right? He passed away in 2014. The Buffalo Bills were put up for sale as well as a number of his other assets. $1.2 billion in assets. The 4 life trustees focused in on southeast Michigan and western New York because of Mr. Wilson's hometown and adopted hometown, and focused in on economic development, preparing for success, which includes early childhood and after-school programming and workforce, caregivers, and active lifestyles.
So that explains as to why you guys are involved in everything from projects that develop waterways to after-school program investment and everything in between.
Right, and hopefully they intersect at some point, right?
And
more and more good stuff will happen.
I love it. So, one of the things that is near and dear to my heart, as you know, is kind of that after-school or that healthy out-of-school time continuum. What's big on the horizon from your perspective and all things out-of-school time?
Well, I think out-of-school time is misunderstood.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, well, that's latchkey. That's a place where kids can go and have fun, and that's it. And they have a good time and go away. It's kind of like an extended PE class, and it's over, right? The reality is, after school may be one of the single most important social and emotional learning components that we have.
Yeah.
A traditional classroom doesn't work for everybody. Mm-hmm. And think about COVID. How many hours did we lose in a classroom? That educational loss, you're not going to make it up by extending the school day in a traditional classroom. After school does all of that. Mm-hmm. Everything from STEM education to business education to career exploration to sports and rec and the team learning from that and how to collaborate. After school just makes better citizens.
Yeah, I love that, and you said something, the enrichment component. It's the academic space, K-12 is more challenging than ever, as they say.
Absolutely.
And one of the neat, unique things about after school is you can really diversify the offerings, and you're not kind of confound to we can only do this. So
right.
We can inspire kids in art, we can inspire them in engineering, we can inspire them in music or whatever the case may be. What are your thoughts on the opportunities that are missing or that you'd like to see expanded on when it comes to children having more opportunity to choose enrichment or spark their passion, if you will?
Well, just overall, there's a lack of programs. For every 1 kid in after school in Michigan, 4 kids are waiting to get into a program. Mm-hmm. So we don't have enough programs. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes a matter of youth's voice. We should be listening to kids, plug them into what they want to do. And the learning and the social and emotional advancement will come from that.
Yeah.
Force them to do it. Think about this. If you hated algebra, right? Go.
I don't have to think about it. Right? I know.
We're going to make you learn algebra, right? That doesn't work so well.
Yeah.
But if we're going to help you because you're interested in a shop kind of arrangement or building something. By the way, you got to use algebra to figure that out. My brother's a great example of this. He's a pipe fitter. He's an HVAC air conditioning expert. Big units.
Yeah.
And I went with him once to watch him do something. Hated math, hated school. And I was watching him calculate. I said, what are you doing? And so I'm just trying to figure out how to move 22 tons of air up a 45-degree angle and down 400 feet to drop in. I said, man, that is trigonometry and physics. I can't do that math.
Yeah.
He said, no, it's not. I'm just trying to figure out how to push 22 tons of air up a 45-degree. So to him, trigonometry, math made no sense. But when it came to his vocation and his interest, suddenly he could do math I could never do.
Yeah.
So it's listen to youth voice.
The practical application, I mean, we see it all the time.
Right.
It really just changes the entire dynamic of everything.
It does, and it doesn't matter if it's art that it's found in, if it's youth sports and rec. I can tell you all about angles off a backboard from years of playing basketball, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how you learn it. And if I learn it the way I want to, it'll stay. Yeah,
I love that. And just to touch on before we take off, you said the social emotional piece, and I applaud the work that the Ralph Wilson Foundation has really spearheaded and invested in, and that's that trauma-informed care model. You brought up basketball, huge sports fan, and I came up Texas football and all of the cliches
big time football
there,
in Texas,
And it's interesting to see how many kids, instead of, if we shift our lens from winning or from and those are important aspects, right? We can't undercut winning. That winning and losing is part of life,
sure,
but that really looking at sport and rec as an opportunity to develop young people and their confidence and their self-worth and different things like that.
I have taught in a classroom and I have coached 5 sports.
Yeah.
Kids learn more from me coaching 5 sports than in any classroom.
Yeah.
Because you could take the time to explain something,
Yeah.
and you can explain how their behavior and choices with other kids were informing and changing them. And you saw maturity happen in those moments, not in a moment when you were teaching math.
And the flashes,
and
right?
The flashes, right?
And the
You
flashes.
see it.
It's tough when they're throwing a water bottle out of frustration, but to have that real life moment.
That's it.
And
where else can you talk about it?
Yeah.
I have story after story, and the coaching made a bigger difference than any classroom.
I love that. Well, Dave, I appreciate the time that you took today and your leadership and all the work. And how many years do you have left before you put yourself out of work?
We're about 9.5 years left.
Okay.
But I would be remiss if I didn't thank you. I mean, when we look at after-school programs and what's happening, and we look at what's happening up in Port Huron and that whole area, you're really leading in a big way. Whether it's Y on the Fly or the in-space work that you're doing, you're affecting hundreds and hundreds of kids, and thank you for doing that. It makes a difference.
Well, I appreciate that. We do it together.
All right.
Till next time, my friend.
You got it.
Take care. And thank you for joining us at the Mackinac Policy Conference.
To hear more from this conversation, visit thumbcoast.tv.